The Washington Post wants to talk to me about our story involving this official at this NGO named Ceiba. Here we go, Washington Post reporter. Here is the answer to your question, and here's the quote that I would like you to attribute to me. It is a fact that the NGO is across the street from the city commissioner's office, satellite office, where everyone drops off the ballots in those green boxes. That's a fact. You're trying to get me to say something that I'm not saying. That's what I'm saying to you right now.
So you're not saying that they're across the street from a
This is
voting
great content,
location
man.
on purpose in order to give false information to voters?
You're asking me what I'm not saying. I'm telling you what it is that I am saying, and it's up to you whether you want to report what I'm saying.
Okay.
But this is kind of becoming slightly Kafkaesque.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes,
Okay.
that's my favorite word. That's my word that describes the absurdity and the irony of our present circumstances. So you knew I was going to say it. It sounds like you know me better than I know myself.
My question is, you said that you'd be willing to share with me all of the unedited.
I don't know about journalists opening up their reporter notebooks like that. I don't know if any news organization does that. You guys don't do that. New York Times doesn't do that. AP doesn't do that.
Did you learn while you were there heritage was of the people there? I had
I'm not going to comment on that.
Ceiba is a city in Puerto Rico, and my understanding is that Ceiba is
She's gonna defame the shit out of me.
Rican, whether the people that you were talking to were Puerto Rican or not, you don't know what their heritage was.
I don't understand why you would bring race into this, is I guess the question.
I've seen a lot of your work, and I have seen examples of your work where things are taken out of context, and so
Can you give me a specific example of the last decade of where I've edited someone out of context? I mean, I've printed two corrections in my life, but can you give me an example in the last 10 years?
I will. I'll get back to you. I promise.
She's unwilling to actually report the facts as stipulated. She's trying to put words in my mouth while saying, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
Hey, James.
Hi there. Is this Amy?
Amy.
Amy Gardner at WAPO?
Yeah.
Hi there. In terms of the footage, now this is in Spanish, but she clearly shakes her head yes. The reporter says, so long as I have an ITIN number, I can vote. She shakes her head yes. The journalist says, even though I'm not a resident, and she said, you just need the ITIN to start the process. That's what this official clearly states, and she's across the street from the city commissioner's office.
Did the journalist identify herself as a non-citizen, or did she identify herself as someone from Puerto Rico who lives in Philly?
The journalist said that she had a friend who was trying to go through this process and was getting counsel and guidance with this NGO that was actually standing on the sidewalk of the city commissioners, but they had moved them across the street because I guess electioneering laws in Philadelphia say you got to be 10 feet away.
Even on Monday when there's no early vote in Philly.
Well,
and there's no.
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. I think that it's a satellite election office, so apparently there were people that were dropping off ballots at this satellite election office.
Yeah, you can drop ballots off. Yeah.
Right, and inside of that location there appeared to be voting areas. So I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
So she gave the journalist that fact sheet about ITIN numbers.
Correct.
That NGO offers to immigrants. And did you ask them what yesterday was about for them?
Yeah, they were giving out T-shirts. They had pictures of them saying vote. I mean, they're literally adjacent to the satellite city commissioner's office.
What did the T-shirts say on them?
We'll get you pictures.
Okay, that'd be great.
Here, I'm just taking a picture right now.
Okay.
Hold it out for me. Yeah, they were giving out Vote Today, PA. So it doesn't get much more.
Well, that's the name of an organization, Vote Today, PA.
The question you just asked me was whether they were.
Yeah, no.
Whether they were encouraging people to vote. So the answer is yes.
They were giving out literature from the organization Vote Today PA, so they were obviously doing get out the vote stuff in addition to whatever other tax counseling that they were offering.
Yeah, just giving you the facts. They were
Okay.
telling people to vote. They were giving out literature and T-shirts and scarves. that says vote on it, and they were standing across the street from the satellite office where people vote. Did you reach out to Ceiba?
Oh, yeah.
And what did they say?
Well, did you see their statement?
No.
So they put out a statement that actually
About this video?
Yeah.
Okay.
They put out a statement that actually suggests that, they're sort of acknowledging that somebody may have misspoken to your person.
Oh.
My question is, you said that you'd be willing to share with me all of the unedited.
Well, I just did. I just read to you. I can read it to you again over the phone. Is it the policy? I don't know about journalists opening up their reporter notebooks like that. I don't know if any news organization does that. You guys don't do that. New York Times doesn't do that. AP doesn't do that. But I'm reading to you the translation. So long as I have a TIN number, I can vote. Juliana shakes her head yes. Reporter, even though I'm not a resident or a citizen. Subject, yes, you need that number first. ITIN to start the process. Right? So
right.
there's their exchange. Go ahead.
I guess the thing that I'm curious about is if the video has been edited.
I know, that's the thing though, because if I share with you the full and it's fully in context, then you'll want the full raw video, right? You'll never be satisfied no matter what I give you. That's how this process works. And that's how it's worked for 20 years, with me at least.
I guess I just want everything that person videotaped on her
Let's say
camera.
I give that all to you and it shows it's fully in context. Are you going to be satisfied? Or are you going to go, but did O'Keefe turn off the recording? It's always going to be another step for you to be satisfied. That's what I've found in my life, and I've been doing this for 20 years. So prove me wrong.
Right, I know you have, and I've seen a lot of your work, and I have seen examples of your work where things are taken out of context, and so
Can you give me a specific example of the last decade of where I've edited someone out of context? I mean, I've printed two corrections in my life, but can you give me an example in the last 10 years?
I will. I'll get back to you. I promise.
I would like that. I would be very curious about that. Because I've gone to jury verdict a few times and won on defamation. So I just want to know a specific example, since you just told me you're going to get back to me, in the last 10 years. You'd have to go back to 2011 on the NPR video, and I would litigate that with you. But give me the last decade where I've taken someone out of context. Because you just said you're going to get back to me, and I think that's important. So, and if you could also give me an example of any journalist at the Washington Post who shares their full, raw reporter notebooks with the public. I would like to know that as well. Because you guys you're going to edit this article, right? Are you going to provide the full raw transcript of my conversation with you right now to accompany your edited article?
Yeah, no, I would actually, I guess I would counter that. Maybe the parallel would be if we posted video that was edited and it caused a furor and the public said, we want to see the whole thing. I can imagine a conversation about whether we ought to publish the whole thing so that people feel like they're seeing the whole thing.
That analogy?
I mean, like the recording of the phone call between Donald Trump and Brad Raffensperger, we edited it and we sent around the newsiest bits and embedded the newsiest bits in the story. But then we also published the entirety of the phone call precisely for the reasons that we're discussing right now, because we anticipated that there would be some members of the public who would not trust the edits and not trust the clips and want to hear all of it themselves. And so we published the entire thing.
This entire raw exchange with this Juliesa official, there's nothing in the full that's going to discredit it. There's nothing there. And the challenge is when I'm, and by the way, CBS News guy just said we have to trust our officials. Those sorts of, and I'm not saying you're them, but those sorts of sentiments that we need to trust the government, it's almost like a bad faith thing for me because, you know, in my experience, legacy media outlets want to hurt me and discredit what I'm doing. And that's the challenge for us as journalists, right? You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're them, but
I don't have that as a goal.
But my experience has been working with you guys that you want to hurt me.
Well, but we want to know what happened in that video. And
well, I'm telling you what happened. I'm telling you what, I mean, I'm telling you what happened.
Okay. Hey, I missed something you said a second ago. I wanted to ask you to repeat it. You said, because it was specifically to the question whether you would give me the entire video. You said there's nothing in the entire video that, what? Sorry? I missed the last
There's nothing that would that would take this out of context. This is what she said. She said what she said. We stand by our reporting. Didn't they already admit it to you that they was not trained properly? I don't have a copy of that statement.
It appears that they have, although, yeah, no, you're right. It appears that they have.
So what's the issue? If they admitted that they made a mistake, what's the issue?
We just want to see the whole video. It's what we do. It's what we do for a living, is that we try to get as much information as we can.
The issue is with the city of Philadelphia also not informing workers how to properly educate the public, right? This is a whole situation where this NGO is across from the context here. They're across the street from the commissioner's office.
Yeah.
And the worker does seem confused. He also doesn't apparently know the laws there. So that this NGO is right there across the street from the commissioner's office.
What do you think the significance of that is?
What do I think the significance of the NGO being across the street?
Yeah.
I mean, that's self-evident, isn't it?
I just want to make sure I understand. So I just want to make sure that I'm not putting words in your mouth. You are saying that it's significant that the NGO is across.
You're going to make sure you're not putting words in my mouth? I don't understand what you mean by that.
Well, I'm trying to read back to you what I think I just heard you say.
This is a story about an official with an NGO who is telling someone that they can vote if they're not a resident. That's the story. I'm not the story. If I talk about, I'm a meat popsicle or Captain Kangaroo, it wouldn't mean a hill of beans. This story is about the
James,
official
stop. Let me
and
finish.
Juliessa.
James.
Her name is Juliessa. Spell her name correctly.
Can I stop you? I'm not disagreeing with anything.
Because what happens is journalists use mendacious innuendo to try to make reality something it isn't, right?
But I'm not trying.
The story
to do that,
becomes,
right?
Keith said this on the phone. No. This woman said what she said, and we stand by our reporting.
Fine,
and no
but
amount
you
of
also-
sophistry is going to change the subject of what she said. Period.
Are you going to let me talk
Please.
for a second? Okay. I agree that is what the story is, that this woman appears to have said X and it was incorrect, and the organization acknowledged and apologized for what they said was an error.
And that man cursed me off aggressively and may have committed a battery by touching us and putting flags in our face. We're just trying to do our jobs, which is expose what these people are doing, and it sounds like they've agreed it's wrong.
Fine. But you also said, and this is a small point, I'm just trying to be
Go
precise
ahead.
and
Go ahead.
You also said that it's significant that the activity was happening right across the street from the city commissioner's office. And such
What quote do you want to use attributable to me about this? I'm giving you a fact that it's located across the street from the city commissioner's election office. That is a fact that I'm reporting. It's a fact that I've reported.
Yeah, but you're suggesting that it's meaningful.
I'm not suggesting, I'm stating that it is across the street from the office.
Okay.
It's not across the street from the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium. It's not across the street from the barber shop. It's across the street from the city commissioner's office where everyone is dropping off ballots. And we've learned that the office had to push them across the street. That's what we've learned. They were on the sidewalk, and they pushed them across the street. That's where they were, across the street from where everyone is voting. If you don't understand the significance of that, I can't help you. You have to do your own research on the city commissioner's election office, satellite offices, right? What would you like from me? I've just given you my answer.
I feel like you're not answering a very
I just answered the question. I just said it 5 seconds ago.
Well, no, you're saying it's a fact that this thing is across the street.
It is a fact. Here is the answer to your question. Here's the quote that I would like you to attribute to me. Okay. It is a fact that the NGO is across the street from the city commissioner's office, satellite office, where everyone drops off the ballots in those green boxes. That's a fact. You're trying to get me to say something that I'm not saying. That's what I'm saying to you right now.
So you're not saying that they're across the street from a
This
voting
is great
location
content, man.
on purpose in order to give false information to voters.
You're asking me what I'm not saying. I'm telling you what it is that I am saying, and it's up to you whether you want to report what I'm saying. Okay. But this is kind of becoming slightly Kafkaesque.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes,
Okay.
that's my favorite word. That's my word that describes the absurdity and the irony of our present circumstances. So you knew I was going to say it. It sounds like you know me better than I know myself.
Did you learn while you were there heritage was of the people there? I had
I'm not going to comment on that.
Ceiba is a city in Puerto Rico, and my understanding is that Ceiba is
She's gonna defame the shit out of me.
So now we're targeting constituency.
Yeah.
Did you learn?
What should I say?
Whether the people that you were talking to were Puerto Rican or not? You don't know what their heritage was.
What are you asking me?
Well, Puerto Ricans are citizens, so if they ask, is it okay, all I need is to be a Philadelphia resident, if they're Puerto Rican, then that would be accurate. All they would need is to be residents of Philly in order to vote in Philadelphia in the federal election.
We didn't go there with any agenda.
Right?
We're just reporting the facts of what the official said. I'm trying to understand what you're getting at here, why you're going in this direction. We're just reporting the official. I don't know. It seems like you're talking about race. I don't understand. This is about an official with an NGO and what she said. That's what the story is. I don't know. I don't understand questions about. I don't understand why you would bring race into this. Is I guess the question.
I have not brought race into it. I've asked about whether it's possible that she
Yeah.
was under the impression that she was giving advice to somebody who was Puerto Rican.
I don't understand what race has to do with it. They admitted that they did something wrong, and I'm learning about that they admitted this, and that's what the story's about. So I don't know what race would have to do with anything, frankly.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you. When are you putting the article out?
Momentarily.
Are you going to put the full raw transcript to accompany your article?
Of this phone conversation?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you know what the truth is? We'll put this out and they don't care. They just want to, with their alternative reality. They just want to report their alternative reality. And I said, this is Kafkaesque. And she said, I knew you would say that, which means she knows that what she's doing is Kafkaesque. This is what they do, and this is how they do it. Does anyone really trust the healthcare system? Well, thankfully, there still are some good guys left in healthcare, like our great friends at The Wellness Company. The Wellness Company has been with OMG since day one, and now they're proud to introduce the ultimate first aid emergency kit, meticulously created to ensure your access to life-saving prescription medications, personal protective equipment, and other essentials by empowering you to take control of your health journey. Now you and your loved ones will be prepared for the next shortage or whatever they try to pull. My team and I have our kits with us in the field at all times. Don't get caught without the medications you need. The Wellness Company's First Aid Medical Emergency Kit can make all the difference. Order your medical emergency kit now and save 15% by using code OMG. That's twc.health/OMG. Go to twc.health/OMG. Again, that's twc.health/OMG.